Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to the fourth lecture of the series of nuclear reactors. We have already studied three nuclear reactors: boiling water reactor, pressurized water reactor, and canadium, deuterium, uranium reactor. All these three reactors were using the moderator material to slow down the neutron because neutron should be slowed down to produce the fission reaction. Breeder reactor is a special class of reactor that we are going to study in this lecture. These reactors produce more fuel than it consumes. Before starting the topic of breeder reactor, I will overview some of the previous studies that most of the nuclear reactors are used to power steam turbine to generate the electricity. They take the heat energy from the fission reaction to convert water into steam for this purpose. Some of the reactors are used to generate the radioactive isotopes and also used for the research purposes. The most common type of the reactor is the pressurized water reactor. Okay, if we talk about the nuclear fuel in any material that can be consumed to derive the nuclear energy. The most common type of nuclear fuel is the fissile elements. Fissile are those elements that can produce fission by the addition of slow neutron. Means fissile material are those material those can produce fission by incidence of slow neutron that can be made to undergo nuclear fission chain reaction in a nuclear reactor. The most common nuclear fuel that we were using in previous reactor were uranium 235 and plutonium 239. Not all nuclear fuels are used in fission chain reaction. Okay, now what is the problem with uranium 235? No doubt, uranium 235 is the fuel of choice in current reactors, but in nature, the most of the uranium is uranium 238. The amount of uranium 235 is only 0.7%. Therefore, when we want to use uranium 235 as a fuel in pressurized water reactor and boiling water reactor, we have to enrich the uranium 235 up to 3.5%. The basic reason to use the uranium 235 as fuel material is that it is the only natural fissionable or fissile material. The enrichment of uranium 235 is itself a costly and time taking process. If we look at the assembly of the pressurized water reactor, you can see here the fuel assembly of the pressurized water reactor. It contains small pellets of uranium oxide ceramic material, and the size of these pellets are equivalent to the size of the pencil. These fuel assemblies are contained in these kinds of fuel bundles, and these fuel bundles are of size 4.3 meters or 14 feet long. Each have weight about 317.5 kilogram, means 700 pound. If we say how much energy is produced in these fuel assemblies, so by weight we can say that 1 ton of uranium has the equivalent energy of 20,000 tons of energy produced by the core. When uranium 235 nucleus captures a neutron, the total energy is distributed among 236 nucleons in the nucleus. The nucleus becomes unstable and can fission into the fission fragments with the release of 2 or 3 neutrons. So in average we can say 2.5 neutrons are produced per fission reaction. This keeps the fission reaction going on because each neutron produced after the fission reaction will go further fission reaction, and in this way a chain reaction will occur. Then the question is how we can get constant amount of energy during the fission reaction in the reactor. At critically, the chain reaction system is exactly in balance so that the number of neutrons produced in fission reaction remains same, and this balance is achieved by the control rods. By rising and lowering the control rods, we can control the rate of the reaction in any reactor. To rise or lower the power, the number of neutrons must be increased or decreased. It's very important question that when we rise or lower the control rod, the number of neutrons in the reactor core will increase or decrease. As I have discussed in my previous lecture, when we lower the control rods, lowering the control rod will reduce the rate of fission reaction in the reactor core, and the number of neutrons producing in the fission reaction will be reduced, so fission energy or power will be reduced. And if we want to increase the power, then we raise the control rod so that the fission reaction will produce more neutron in the reactor core and more power will be produced. So to produce the constant energy, control rods are continuously adjusted so that constant amount of energy could produce during the reactor operation. The control rods are made of neutron absorbing material, and it is important to mention here that these control rods do not get radioactive by the absorption of neutrons. The next I will discuss that why the mass of the fission fragment remains fixed and how it is affected by the energy of the incident neutrons. As we know that for neutrons to be absorbed by uranium-235 and cause the fission, they must be slowed down. Neutrons released from the fissions are fast neutrons. Their velocity at the time of fission is about 10 raised to the power 9 centimeter per second. When they are slowed down, their energy reaches to the 10 raised to the power 5 centimeter per second. These slow neutrons are required for the fission of uranium-235. Means only slow neutron can cause the fission of uranium-235. This question was mostly asked by the students, so it is important to discuss here that the water in the reactor serve as moderator to slow down the neutrons. Students were asking that if we use the fast neutron, how it will affect the fission process. So I am going to answer this question in the next slides. Fission cross section depends upon the energy of the incident neutrons. Actually, as we know that each nuclear reaction have a fixed threshold energy that can be determined by using the concept of Q value. So when a slow neutron enter in uranium-235, it splits almost in two equal fragments. Here you can see the three possibilities of fission reaction that a neutron hit the uranium-235. If the energy of this incident neutron is different, means higher or lower, these three could be the possible situation for the fission fragments. First situation, when the neutron add up in uranium-235, it will give barium and krypton as fission fragments with the release of two neutrons, and in further two possibilities, three neutrons will be released. So here it is answered that not only three electrons are produced in fission reaction, sometimes two neutrons are also produced. So fission depends upon the fission probability. Each nuclear reaction have a certain probability which is called the cross section. The cross section is the probability of a nuclear reaction over a certain area. As like that, for fission reaction, it can be understood with the help of the following graph. You can see here this graph showing the x-axis as the mass number of the fission fragments and y-axis showing the yield of the fission fragment. Yield means rate of the production of the fission fragment. If you can see that the rate of the production of the fission fragment is showing two humps at 95 and 137 mass number, means when uranium 235 is bombarded with the neutron will excite the uranium and it will produce the fission fragment, and most probable fission fragments will of about these masses as shown by these two humps. Before describing the breeding process, I would like to define the fissile and fertile material. The fissile material are those would give fission by the addition of slow neutron. So fissile material are the fissionable material by the addition of thermal or slow neutron. Uranium 235, uranium 233, plutonium 239 and plutonium 241 are the examples of the fissile material. Whereas the fertile material are those are not actually fissionable material, but they are converted to fissionable material by a process. The fertile material absorbs the fast neutron and will convert into the fissile material by neutron absorption and subsequent nuclear conversion. Means these materials are not actually fissile material, but when a neutron add up in these materials, they will convert to the fissile material by subsequent decays. Thorium 232, uranium 238, plutonium 240 are the major examples. You can see here the principle of breeder reactor. In this diagram, you can see that a slow neutron will hit the uranium 235 to produce the fission of the uranium 235, and the fission neutron will release from here, and these will be the fast neutron. These fast neutron will hit the uranium 238, which is not actually a fissionable material, but when a neutron add up in uranium 238, it will be converted to uranium 239 in excited nucleus. Then this unstable excited nucleus give a beta negative decay to get the instability and will convert to neptunium 239. Neptunium 239 is again an unstable material, and it will give a further beta negative decay to convert to plutonium 239, which is actually a fissionable material. So breeding reaction converts uranium 238 to fissionable plutonium. Now this plutonium 239 is a fissionable material, means it can give fission by the addition of neutron, and uranium 238 was not fissionable material, but uranium 238 is the most abundant uranium in the nature, whereas the uranium 235 is the most less abundant. So let's understand further the breeding process. When a neutron is bombarded in uranium 238, the uranium 238 will become an unstable uranium 239. This uranium 239 will give a beta negative decay to convert to neptunium 239, which is again an unstable nuclide, which will give a further beta negative decay and will convert to plutonium 239. Now the produced plutonium 239 is not only a fissionable material, rather it can be fission with the help of fast neutron. So plutonium 239 can be used as an efficient fuel rather than uranium 235, because uranium 235 requires slow neutron for its fission, whereas plutonium 239 can be fissioned with the fast neutron. You can see here the process. When a fast neutron will enter in plutonium 239, it will give two fission fragments with the release of further fission neutron and large amount of energy. So this process provides the basics of the breeding process, and this breeding process will lead to the designing of the breeder reactor. This figure is showing the conventional design of the breeder reactor. Breeder reactors are designed to produce more fissile material than they consume. The fission reaction produces heat to run the turbine, while at the same time breeding plutonium fuel will produce further fuel for the next fission reaction. So you can see here in the diagram the central core of this reactor contain highly enriched uranium or plutonium. Here you can see the control rod, which are same as like that of the previous reactor. These control rods are here to control the reaction. And third part is the uranium-238 blanket. This uranium-238 is the depleted uranium. Depleted uranium is the uranium-238 with lesser amount of uranium-235. It means the neutron released from the central core and will hit the uranium-238 blanket, and uranium-238 blanket will produce further fuel for next fission reaction. Heat is transferred from the primary to secondary sodium. You can see the primary cycle of the sodium. This is the radioactive sodium. Here the liquid sodium will be used as the cyclic material. You can say that it is the moderator, but actually moderators are used to slow down the neutron. Here the sodium will not slow down the fission neutron, and this liquid sodium is exchanging the heat with the secondary sodium. This is the also liquid sodium, and this liquid sodium will exchange the heat with the water to convert the water into steam that will run the turbine. So as a whole, the central part of the core will produce the fission using the fissile material, which in turn produce the fission of the uranium-238 in the blanket, that will produce the plutonium-239, which will be the next fuel to be used for fission reaction within this reactor. So in this way, breeder reactor produce more fissile material than they consume. So let's discuss the working of the fast breeder reactor with the help of this diagram. The core of the reactor, the region containing the fissionable material, is made up of 15 to 30% of uranium-235, which is surrounded by blanketed uranium-238. Since fast neutrons are more efficient in converting uranium-238 to plutonium-239, there is no need for a moderator to slow down the neutron produced in the fission. Here the cadmium rods control the chain reaction in the blanketed core contained in the primary vessel. The feed water here circulating in the outer heat exchanger is converted into the steam, which may operate the steam turbine, which will produce the electricity here. So the fact is that a fast breeder reactor means that sufficient fission can be initiated by capture of high energy fast neutrons. So moderators are used to slow down the neutrons without absorbing them. In fast breeder reactor, no moderator is required. So if I summarize the whole process, in breeder reactor, uranium-238 or thorium-232 are used as fuel element. Because uranium-238 is 140 times more abundant than the fissionable uranium-235, and uranium-238 can be efficiently converted to plutonium-239 by the neutrons from the fission chain reaction. Therefore, it is the material of choice as a fuel. So uranium-235, being less abundant, cannot be used as fuel forever. So an alternative was required. So a way out was needed to use the abundant isotope as a fuel in the nuclear reactor. So the breeder reactor was only design that can be used to produce the fission of the uranium 238, which is more abundant in the nature. In this diagram, you can see that the central core of the uranium-235 will hit the blanket of the uranium-238, which will melt the sodium here, and the liquid sodium will circulate in the primary circle, and where it will exchange heat to the secondary sodium, and the secondary sodium in this way is not physically in contact with the radioactive sodium in the primary cycle. So the secondary sodium will go to the next cycle and produce the steam from the circulating water here, and this circulating water will produce the steam to run the turbine that will produce the electricity, and this steam will be recycled after condensation to the same chamber to produce the steam again. The assembly of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor is in hexagonal shape, where we can see that the central part or the inner core is composed of uranium-238 plus uranium-239, and the outer part, this yellow part, is the uranium-238 plus plutonium-239, and the further surrounded part is the breeder blanket that is composed of uranium-238, and there is another layer surrounding the breeder blanket, that is the reflector layer, not shown here. You can see in this diagram that core structure contains of hexagonal shape, means hexagonal cones are arranged here, and the central part and the further central part, and this is the blanket part, and this will be surrounded by the reflector layer. Usually the liquid metal is used as coolant in the liquid metal fast breeder reactor. Here we discuss what are the advantages of the sodium metal. If we use sodium as a coolant material, what would be the advantages? Molten sodium is the coolant of choice because it causes negligible moderation. As we want to slow down the neutron, but in case of breeder reactor, liquid metal is used as coolant in liquid metal fast breeder reactor. Here we shall discuss the priority of the sodium as coolant material, because molten sodium is the coolant of choice because of its negligible moderation, as we want to scatter the neutron, and liquid sodium will provide negligible moderation to the neutron. Liquid sodium not only one of the cheapest available metal, liquid sodium further advantage is that it carries a high power density and non-corrosive towards the stainless steel. So the reactor vessel is made up of the stainless steel, and non-corrosive nature of the sodium is provide the advantage of the sodium as a coolant material of choice. Its large heat capacity and good thermal conductivity is another factor upon which we can use liquid metal sodium as the coolant material. It prevents significant rise in the temperature. So liquid metals are used as moderator in liquid metal fast breeder reactor as coolant material. Typically sodium is used as coolant material because of the certain properties of the sodium. Some reactors use lead bismuth alloy or sodium fluoride salt. The advantages associated the use of sodium are the low melting point temperature of 98 degrees centigrade. Because of this temperature, just after the fission reaction in the central core, the sodium will melt and provide efficient heat transfer. The higher boiling point temperature is the second advantage. Liquid sodium has 892 degrees centigrade as boiling point, and this boiling point allow us to take the higher efficiency or move the liquid, run the liquid metal fast breeder reactor at higher efficiencies. Higher heat capacity is the third advantage, that we can efficiently transfer the heat from primary to secondary and secondary to the water cycle. The fourth major advantage, that system can run at lower pressure because of the liquid sodium. Apart from these advantages, one disadvantage is associated with the liquid sodium, that it burns when it comes in contact with the air or water and produce poisonous fumes. Okay, let's discuss the shielding of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor. These reactors have multiple layers of shielding for the security of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor. You can see here different layers of the shielding around the vessel of the reactor. So the reactor vessel is covered in the lead frame, and lead frame is further covered in the reinforced concrete, and this reinforced concrete is further covered with the steel rods here, and this steel rod is covered with the dry wall of concrete of higher thickness, and further we have a layer of stainless steel before the outer wall, and the final concrete building wall is surrounded the whole containment. There are many advantages associated with the liquid metal fast breeder reactors. The first advantage is that the leftover of uranium-238 while in the process of enrichment of uranium-235 for thermal reactor can be used in the liquid metal fast breeder reactor as the fuel. The ores with very small concentration of uranium-235, which is useless for the conventional reactors, can be used as the blanket of uranium-238 in the liquid metal fast breeder reactors. The lifespan of the present uranium sources are increased by 100 times by using the uranium-238 instead of uranium-235. The further advantages associated is the energy produced is of low cost due to the readily availability of uranium-238 without enrichment, since enrichment is another complicated process which will add more cost in the processing. Since it is reuses fuel, the expenses for mining and processing of uranium ore is minimized. Breeder reactor create 30% more fuel than it consumes, so it is the main reason and main advantage of the breeder reactor. Breeder reactor can generate much more energy than traditional coal power plants. So this technology is most efficient technology. The installation cost of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor is higher, but later on we can efficiently produce the cheaper electricity. This technology does not contribute to the air pollution, another major advantage associated with the liquid metal fast breeder reactor. So apart from the advantages of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor, there are certain disadvantages associated with it. Liquid sodium explodes from the reactor. If it happens, the leakage can be dangerous because sodium exposed to the environment will burn readily to produce the toxic gases. The coolant in the heat exchanger is opaque, which result is that we cannot see that what is happening in the central core of the reactor vessel. Not possible to see the inside of the core while the maintenance of the reactor. The high energy neutron makes sodium radioactive, and this radioactive sodium will add an extra time in the shutdown and maintenance of the reactor. Because of the radioactive sodium, it is to be saved and advised that we should wait for the 20 half-lives, which is 300 hours or 12.5 days. So it is important to wait for this time after the shutting down and reopening of the reactor for the repairing and maintenance. Further disadvantages are that highly enriched sodium coolant can cause serious accidents. There are chances that the plutonium-239 emit in the atmosphere, and plutonium-239s have long half-life, have 24,000 years, and the long half-life provides the toxic environment for this long period, causing lungs cancer even if a small amount is inhaled. Long switching of the reactor increase the cost significantly and also reliability of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor. Another disadvantage is that the construction and operation of the liquid metal fast breeder reactor is very costly. So it is all about the liquid metal fast breeder reactor. I hope you will have understand each and every step. If you have any question, I would be available on the Google Classroom. You can contact me. I will guide you. And if you want to have a live session, I would be available also for that. Okay, students. Okay, see you.